Have you ever noticed how someone can still stay in your mind even when your life with them does not make sense anymore? You try to move forward, but your thoughts keep pulling you back to the first conversations, back to the moments that felt right, back to what you hoped they could become. And that is where many of you are stuck. Not because you are blind, not because you are foolish, but because your heart is still attached to something your spirit has already been questioning. You are praying for clarity, but living in emotional confusion. You are asking God for direction, but resisting what He has already been revealing through patterns. And God says there are people listening right now who are not confused because they lack answers. They are confused because they are emotionally attached to what they already know is unstable. Deep down, you already felt it. The inconsistency, the emotional distance, the mixed signals, the cycle of closeness and withdrawal. But instead of responding to what you saw, you held on to what you hoped it would become. And hope is powerful, but hope without truth can trap you because hope will highlight the good moments and ignore the repeated patterns that are trying to wake you up. God says some of you are not holding on to a person. You are holding on to a version of a person that only exists in your imagination, and letting go feels like loss. Because you are not releasing reality, you are releasing a dream. The Lord says peace is supposed to guide you, not confusion. 1 Corinthians 14:33 says, "For God is not the author of confusion, but of peace." So if what you are in constantly leaves you unsettled, if it keeps making you question your value, if it keeps draining your emotional strength, stop calling it spiritual warfare and start calling it what it is: misalignment, because confusion is also communication. God says, I have been speaking to you, not through one moment, but through patterns over time, the same cycle repeating, the same uncertainty returning, the same emotional inconsistency showing up again. That is not random. That is revelation. Some of you have been trying to force alignment where there is none, trying to build stability where there is no consistency, trying to create commitment where there is hesitation, trying to make something work that requires constant emotional survival, and it is costing you your peace. The Lord says, anything I ordain will not require you to lose yourself in order to keep it. You should not have to constantly prove your worth. You should not feel like you are waiting to be chosen again every week. You should not feel emotionally exhausted just to keep someone close. That is not love, that is strain. Amos 3:3 says, "Can two walk together unless they are agreed?" Agreement is not just attraction, it is direction, it is consistency, it is alignment. God says, I am not exposing this to hurt you. I am exposing this to protect you because I see what continues if you stay. I see the emotional weight that builds slowly. I see the quiet loss of peace you are adjusting to. I see the identity shift that is happening without you noticing. And I love you too much to let you settle in something that cannot sustain you. Sometimes the most loving thing God does is not bringing someone closer. It is allowing distance to remain. Isaiah 55:8 says, "For my thoughts are not your thoughts, neither are your ways. My ways," God says, "I see the full picture. You only see moments. You see chemistry. I see direction. You see connection. I see consequences. You see feelings. I see future outcomes. And because I see further than you, there are times I close what you wanted open, not because I am punishing you, but because I am preserving you. Some of you are blaming yourself for what did not work. You are asking, did I pray wrong? Did I miss it? Did I do something wrong? But God says this is not always about what you did. Sometimes it is about what I am protecting you from, because not everything that feels right in a moment is right for your future. The Lord says, I am removing what keeps stealing your peace. I am redirecting you from what keeps your spirit unsettled. I am separating you from what keeps pulling you away from clarity, because what I have for you will not drain you emotionally just to stay in it. It will not confuse you repeatedly. It will not require you to beg for consistency. It will not make you question your worth. It will bring peace. It will bring stability. It will bring clarity. So if you are asking why he is not the one you will marry, the answer is not complicated. I am removing what cannot sustain your future. I am protecting your heart from cycles that would break you slowly, and I am leading you toward what will not require you to lose yourself. Let go of what keeps confusing you. Pay attention to what keeps drawing you closer to God, and trust that if He is closing the door, it is because He is preserving your life and preparing something better than what you were trying to hold on to. God says some of you have made this person your last hope without even realizing it. You have convinced yourself that if this relationship does not work out, then nothing else will. That is why every setback feels devastating. That is why every disappointment feels heavier than it should. But the Lord says, I need you to remember that your future is not hanging on one person. I am God. I am not limited to one individual. I am not limited to one opportunity. I am not limited to one relationship. If someone walks away from your life, that does not mean my plan walked away with them. The Lord says you have been looking at one closed door while I have been preparing doors you cannot see yet. You have been mourning what ended while I have been working on what comes next. That is why you must be careful not to become so focused on who left that you miss what God is doing in your present season. Think about Elijah. After one difficult season, he sat down and thought he was alone. He thought there was nothing left, yet God showed him there was far more happening than he realized. In the same way, God says there is more ahead of you than you can currently see. Your vision has become smaller because your pain has become louder. But I am bigger than your disappointment. The Lord says stop measuring your future by your current emotions. Emotions change, circumstances change, seasons change, but my promises remain the same. If I have called you to a future filled with hope, then one person's inability to value you cannot cancel what I have prepared for your life. You are not difficult to love. You are not forgotten. You are not running out of time. You are not behind. The enemy wants you to believe that this person was your only chance, but God says, I am still writing your story. And what I have planned for you does not depend on someone who refuses to walk in the direction I have called them to go.